I'm Gordon Portman. I was born and raised in Saskatchewan, and like a lot of people and a lot of artists, left, and after a while decided it was time to come back home. And I'm very glad that I did. I'm glad to be back at Spring Festival again. This piece started a long time ago when I was actually living in Toronto, and I did a residency at Buddies in Bad Times there, and it never went anywhere for various reasons. And then a couple of things happened that made me decide to bring it out and do some more work on it. And one of those things was actually triggered by a friend of mine who got, quite frankly, kind of pissy about the fact that Justin Trudeau was marching in a pride parade and everybody was making a big deal out of it. But what this friend of mine neglected to take into account was the fact that an Arab Canadian immigrant was marching beside Justin Trudeau and was practically beside himself with tears at the fact that he could do so freely in this country. And it made me realize just how much privilege there was in my friend's attitude. That is the privilege of having lived in a country where it was relatively safe to be out for a long time. So that made me want to revisit this play, which looked at those issues glancingly, but not in any kind of depth. So I've gone after it again, looking for a bit more of that depth, and looking at ways in which this contemporary situation echoes the situation that was original to the play, which is a confrontation between a gay man of the 70s fighting to gain privilege across time and space with someone born into privilege in England, but who didn't do anything with it. So it's 3 layers and levels of privilege and othering and theatricality across time and quotes from a famous novelist. And it doesn't necessarily resolve, but they end up looking at each other and themselves in different ways because of what has happened in the past that made the present different and in some ways more possible.